Okay. I should have sent that before you got the message out. Alright. Come on out, Mike. You've been in there half an hour, Gavin shouted, banging on the door Mike was behind. Mike whimpered and unlocked the door. I'm scared. Don't be a bloody ponce. Let's have a look. Gavin laughed and opened the bathroom door. He took a final swig of his beer and placed it on the bathroom counter. Mike was standing in the middle of Ray's bathroom with a pair of black leather chaps. They hugged his small hips well and didn't leave much to imagination. Not bad, Gavin smiled. Well, let's go to the party then, and grabbed Mike's arm, pulling him in the direction of the door. No! Mike shouted, and tried to pull his arm away. There isn't any material in the back. Mike lowered his hands behind his back, where Gavin had assumed was his bare ass was. Oh, crap, I butchered that. Gavin laughed even harder. This is brilliant! I need another beer. While Gavin hurried to get another drink, Mike sat down on the bathroom edge. Cold! Mike whimpered and stood back up. Ah, Mike! There was a tap behind the wall. Yeah, Mike answered the voice. It was Ray, of course, who was in his own bedroom. Did your outfit come with bottoms? Ray asked nonchalantly. Yeah, but I'm missing a top, Mike answered. You want to come in here for a minute? Ray asked. Mike realized he didn't give up anymore. Everyone was going to see his bare butt whether he wanted them to or not. So he headed over to Ray's room. Opening the door, Mike stopped and stared at the image before him. Ray was wearing a tan leather vest, sitting loosely on his shoulders. The vest was open and Mike could see Ray's Caucasian chest. That's supposed to be C. Maybe I said C, I can't remember. Either way, my reading is odd. Mike swallowed hard and then realized that was all Ray was wearing. Mike flushed red, his eyes widened. Where are your pants, Ray? Mike couldn't help but look below Ray's waistline and blushed even harder. YOLO, right? Ray said, and he noticed that Mike's pants were getting increasingly tighter in the crotch. Looks like you're not a dirty straight after all, he nodded, a smile on. Why am I doing this? Why? Alex, I'm gonna kill you. His face was confused. Wait, what? No, I read that all wrong. Dang it. I'm not... Okay, Mike was confused. There we go. And with the blood rushing away from his flushed cheeks to his crotch, it was hard to think of what Ray was saying. Mike. Mike managed to... I'm losing composure. Mike managed to say and turned around to leave the room. Damn. Ray said... Alex, I'm gonna murder you. I'm going to murder you. I spelt that all wrong, but I don't care. For a moment he forgot, but now he realized that Ray was staring at his bare ass. Mike turned back around and saw Ray moving closer to him, and he couldn't help but notice that Ray was interested physically. Mike's mind began to race again, and before he got to think of anything coherent, he felt a firm hand on his left ass cheek. Where are you going? Ray whispered. Mike jumped, not realizing that Ray's mouth was so close to his ear. Mike began to try to think again, and he turned around to face Ray. Ray now had Mike right where he wanted him. He grabbed him by the ass and pulled him close. Mike's eyes fluttered shut. They're not supposed to flutter shut, they just flutter. His body obviously taking control of what he wants. The grammar in this. Ray placed his lips next to Mike's ear and pulled their bodies so close that their chests were touching. Like what you saw? Ray asked in a husky voice. That sounded murderous. Mike swallowed and shivered, his reacting to Ray's words. Ray could feel exactly Mike's reaction. I don't like how this chick wrote this story, I honestly don't. And thrust it lightly against him. Mike moaned. Ray laughed teasingly, and then pushed Mike hard against the bedroom wall. I have so much hard. I'm just gonna read. Mike felt Ray's lips crashing against his own, and he awkwardly stood still, his hands down at his side. Ray pulled away quickly and looked at Mike before kissing him hard again. This time, Mike responded. Mike opened his mouth a little, just a little, so he could deepen the kiss, and he couldn't help but moan again. He slowly lifted his hands and placed them on Ray's waist, kissing him harder. Ray thrusted towards Mike again, and this time a moan escaped his own lips and departed away from Mike. I don't know what Mike started to say, and Ray silenced him with another kiss, and started to walk with both of them backwards onto Ray's bed. Mike fell on top of Ray and broke away from the kiss to look over him. Excuse me. Ray's skin was flushed and it was hard and pressing against Mike's stomach, and Mike had never seen anything more beautiful. His arms trembled as he landed back on top of Ray. Sorry, Mike started again, and Ray just laughed and groped Mike's ass one more time. After hearing a squeak from the small boy's lips, Ray sat up and looked at Mike, grabbing a hand. Mike let his hand be led before he realized his hand was slowly pumping Ray's hard thingamajig. Ray's eyes fluttered as he moaned. I don't like saying that word, I apologize. Mike couldn't believe what was happening. A few hours ago he didn't know he wanted this, but now it was all he ever wanted. Mike leaned in and kissed Ray again, knowing he couldn't be rejected at this point, and gripped Ray's harder. I don't like saying that word, I don't know why. Ray's hands drifted away from helping Mike and began to try and undress the younger boy. Mike pulled back from the kiss and let Ray brush his hand across his tight, black leather concealed penis, moaning slightly. I'm just gonna say penis from now. You've seen me, now let me see you. I guess Ray's a ghoul, everyone. Ray breathed into Mike's ear, flicking his earlobe. Why do they do that? Beginning to kiss down his neck. Mike had never been in so much pleasure in his entire life. How long is this fic? This is probably like the longest fic I'm ever going to read in my... Oh, wait, never mind, it's short. It's much, much shorter than any chapter I've ever read in Fallout Equestria. Mike had never been in so much pleasure in his entire life. He shifted his position and let Ray take off the black leather chaps. Why would you be wearing chaps to an engagement party or whatever this is for? I would not wear chaps. I would under assless chaps, for one. As the fabric... Oh, Scott would hate this. As the fabric was pulled down, Mike's penis sprang free, cum already leaking slowly from the tip. Ray licked his lips and began to lower himself towards the hot flesh. Ray licked the tip lightly. I thought Ray would have been a dom. I guess not. Causing Mike to shiver and moan, Ray smiled and lowered his entire mouth over Mike's length. Mike fell back onto the bed, unable to keep himself up, getting lost in the idea that Ray was sucking his aching penis. It was so much to handle, Mike knew he wouldn't be able to resist. Wait, Ray, Wait, no, I'd read that in the wrong voice. Wait, Ray, Mike breathed out. Ray sucked in, swirling his tongue around before letting Mike's penis free without... Ray looked at Mike, his lips wet. It drove Mike wild. He was about to do something he never thought he would ever do. He sat up again and took his penis in his hands, keeping his eyes locked on his Hispanic boy. Oh, okay. This is interracial. I'm okay with that. Mike closed his eyes and then tried to imitate what Ray had just done to himself, and then licked the tip softly. Ray placed his hands on Mike's shoulders for support and helped lower Mike over his entire penis. Mike choked at first, but wanted to please his friend. He tried to relax and began to bob his head up and down. Yeah, just like that, Ray groaned, encouraging Mike. Oh, Images, no, get out! Mike became a little... Oh, I can imagine is a ghoul. And some human. They're doing it, and I don't like it. You know, I'm all for that coupling, but, you know, just, I don't want to know what happens between the bed sheets. Gavin had been sitting in the kitchen, sipping the beer he had left Mike to get. What? Oh, yeah. He looked at his watch and realized it had been some time since he heard anything from Mike. Oh, no. No, he's gonna join. No. I don't want to read this anymore, but I will.
Oh God.
Ray, getting off his stool, dirtying himself, Gavin headed down the hall towards the bathroom, peeking his head in and seeing no one. He walked a few steps more and noticed Ray's bedroom door half open. Gavin was about to shout and knock on the door when he heard a strange noise. Curious, Gavin looked through the opening, and he could not believe what he saw. Ray leaned against the headboard as Mike, oh God, was between his legs, his ass in the air. This time without any clothes on at all. Gavin's John Thomas. Oh, I'm glad they named it something else. I can say John Thomas instead of, well, yeah. Began to swell in his jeans. Gavin took another swig of his beer before putting it on the closest table, and rushed back to the erotic scene. Gavin, already a little drunk and very turned on, began to rub himself through his jeans when Mike began to moan with Ray. Gavin couldn't handle the tightness anymore. He began to undo his pants, shuffling down his boxers as he said, why would you wear boxers? Boxer briefs are the best. Boxers are, they ride a whole lot. And briefs, they're just too constricting. You get the best of both worlds with boxer briefs. Everybody who listens to this, buy boxer briefs. Even if you're a woman, they're very comfortable. He slowly started to pump his British manhood. Mike had popped his head up and kissed Ray hard on the lips. Ray must have been biting Mike's lips because Mike was whimpering, pulling away from the rough kiss. Mike scooted back down Ray's body, kissing his chest before working on his penis. Again, Gavin's breath began to pick up as he pumps his penis harder. This was so incredibly hot. This was so incredibly hot! He had to see more, trying to get a better look. Gavin leaned against the door. The door swung open a little more, and with his pants around his ankles, his hand working on his cock, he stumbled forward, and the door swung open all the way. With a thud that fell forwards onto his knees, Ray's eyes shot open at the sound as he sees a half-dressed Gavin on the floor. Now, that reminds me of that one scene in Fallout Equestria where Little Pip walks in on Velvet and Calamity, and except she wasn't stroking her penis because she doesn't have one. Anyways. Welp, Ray says, raising his arms in the air. It comes out more as a moan as Mike chokes down on Ray's entire length. Well, lads, Gavin said, why did I read it in that voice? Either way, getting to his feet. Mike has pulled away from Ray at this point and turned to face Gavin, his face flushed and his breath ragged. Dude, your John Thomas is huge, Mike said in awe, mouth open. Well, okay. Why did I read it? Why did I say that so loudly? Parents are probably awake and hearing me do this, and I'm going to be grounded, and it's not going to be great. Watching you two, nothing got my knob harder, Gavin admitted, walking over to the bed clumsily. Ray laughed and looked down at Mike, who looked frightened, and back up to Gavin, who was now hovering over him. Oh boy. Well, you going to join us or what? Oh wait. Well, you going to join us or what? Ray asked teasingly, lifting Gavin's shirt off to reveal extremely hairy chest. Mike, lay down. The way you were before. I want to try something, Gavin said. Mike began to move, and Gavin grabbed his hips roughly. Well, this isn't... Okay. Helping him into position with his arse in the air. Yeah, just like that, he said, licking his fingers. Mike became really nervous. He had just sucked his first penis, and now it looked like he was going to be the subject of something he only dreamed of. Ray grabbed Mike's head and pulled him towards his penis again. Mike licked and sucked up the side. Why am I reading this? And began to use one hand to fondle Ray's balls. Ray moaned loudly, encouraging Gavin placed a wet finger on Mike's tight hole. Mike jumped at the touch, excited and nervous at the same time. Excuse me. Gavin slipped. They forgot an E on the word one, so I'm going to read it on. Gavin slipped on digit into the tight space and moved it slowly in and out, letting Mike get used to the size. Mike moaned onto Ray's cock, causing Ray to moan himself. This was too hot. Something was happening so fast. Mike began to feel a little good feeling. Gavin moving around inside of him. Gavin was already prepping for a second figure while gently stroking his own penis. Just got to tease a little, Gavin said seductively. I didn't read that seductively, darn it. And then lowered his head to Mike's pink entrance. Oh god, no, I don't like this. This is on my nope list. And flicked his tongue over it. Mike popped his head up from Ray. No, what are you... Mike began to protest, attempting to wiggle away from the British boy. You want to spank me for being bad, or will you let me continue, Gavin suggested, and Ray kissed Mike's neck, kissing his collarbone back up to his lips. Mike shivered and scrunches his eyes closed as Gavin inserted... Why would you do that? His tongue into Mike's ass. Such a brilliant, tight ass, Gavin growled, and then moved back, rubbing his spit. Why do I have to read all this? Alex, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna rip your entrails out and choke you. Oh boy. Okay. Here we go. And then moved back, rubbing his spit onto his massively. Fuck Mike, I'm so close. Ray moaned, thrusting himself to Mike's throat. Gavin I need a drink. Hold on. Gavin placed the tip of his cock on Mike's entrance. I said the word, no! And Mike's entrance. Are you ready? My body is ready. Fuck me, Gavin. Mike moaned, pulling away from Ray's cock, not wanting Ray to come inside his mouth. Ray moved around and decided to take advantage of the open position Gavin was in. Ray smacked Gavin hard on the ass, and then bit him on the shoulder. Ouch, you booger. Wait, yes. Ouch, you fuck you tight ass if you continue with that, Gavin shouted. Let me watch you fuck him, Ray said, giving Gavin a kiss on the lips. Oh man, why? That tongue was in a very horrible place. Mike put his head...
Extremely detailed.
Oh god, I see the end of the page. Oh god, what? They just... Really? Really? Oh, okay. Mike put his head down and took a deep breath, ready for his virginity to be taken by the sexiest man at Achievement Hunter. He even got awarded by the site user Nicole. Okay. Gavin slipped the tip of his large cock into Mike's tight ass and teased the hole slightly, making Mike get used to his girth. Mike shuddered as he felt his asshole widening. It was painful, but he knew it would get better. Gavin slipped in further and stopped. Mike winced and let out a large breath. "Okay, do it," Mike whimpered. Ray loved watching Mike be so vulnerable, and he could tell that Gavin was loving it too. Gavin began to slowly pull out of the tight hole, and then slowly back in. "More," Mike said, trying not to let tears build. Gavin thrusted harder this time, hitting something inside Mike that made his eyes shoot open. "Oh, Celestia," Mike moaned.
What?
Yeah, I don't understand it either, but it's there. Gavin took this as a good sign. Okay, alright, and began to start a slow and hard pass. Fucking Mike's tight ass. Ray had been kissing Gavin's neck and rubbing his thick chest hair while Gavin had been preparing Mike. And now felt a little out of the pleasure. What? Oh, yes, I understand now. Ray went back in front of Mike, who was now on his hands and knees, moaning and panting. Ray kissed Mike hard, biting his lip and growling. "Suck my cock some more," Ray begged, and forward Mike said onto his what's more. Mike said, moaning onto Ray's hard leg. He was being fucked from both ends now, and it felt so good. He knew he couldn't hold on much longer, but he didn't want to be the first to come. "Oh, bollocks, I don't think I can hold out much longer. Your ass is so tight," Gavin said through gritted teeth, thrusting harder into Mike's ass. He slaps Mike. Why did they just use that word too often? He slapped Mike's butt and threw his head back in pleasure. Mike winced and his teeth gritted on Ray's penis. Oh fuck, Ray said, breathing hard and turning into panic. "Do that again," he growled. Mike didn't want to hurt his friend, but hearing Ray breathe like that, he swallowed as much Ray's cock as he could, and slowly pulled his head up, letting his teeth brush up the shaft, while one hand groped his balls. Mike couldn't hold himself up any longer, his small arms shaking as his body came closer to climax. "Yes, Ray moaned loudly, and before Mike could even attempt to move away, Ray was spilling his seed into Mike's mouth, and Mike coughed, tasting the salty cum, and grimaced. After swallowing what was in his mouth, he realized it wasn't as bad as it always had feared. It truly isn't. It literally isn't. He continued to swallow the final shots of Ray's orgasm as he felt his own building in his loins. Ray's softening cock popped out of Ray's mouth, and he gripped the sheets hard. Now overwhelmed with pleasure, he tried to hold on. "Oh fuck, oh no, Mike moaned loudly and came all over Ray's bed, falling onto his chest. I just guessed random voices and went with it. His arms unable to support him anymore. Tease it, Gavin groaned, thrusting one more hard time, filling Mike's tight asshole with salty goodness. Knowing he would crush Mike, he propped himself up on his arms and just sat there breathing heavily, eyes fluttering shut. They don't flutter shut, you horrible woman. Why would you write it like that? Gavin opened. They flutter open. They don't flutter shut. Gavin opened his eyes and saw himself looking at Mike's sweaty back, and his mind began to understand what had really happened. Pulling slowly out of Mike, he heard Mike groan. "Oh!" Mike said. He was shaking and tried to lay down. It felt weird not to have Gavin's hard length inside of him. It still felt so stretched and very wet. "Fuck, that was incredible," Ray said, laying down beside Mike. "Aren't we supposed to be going to the party?" Gavin asked, yawning. "Guys, what just happened?" Mike said suddenly. Are we gay? His voice cracked. Well, you are now a full boy, Mike. Congratulations, Ray said, chuckling to himself. Mike closed his eyes and wrapped his face with a pillow. What are we going to say to Michael and Lindsay about being late? Mike whimpered, pulling the pillow away from his face. Oh, dear God. I gotta think of a voice for this one. Oh, I know. Hello? A voice echoed down the hall. Mike, Gabe, and Ray sat up quickly and looked at each other. Caleb. They forgot that he was going to be at the one driving them to the party. He must have come in to the house when no one was answering the phone. 1 second, Ray yelled, throwing his vest on and attempting to find a pair of pants. It was too late. Caleb was standing at the bedroom door and had a very puzzled look on his face. Not what it looks like, Mike said to Caleb. I just won't ask, Caleb said, shaking his head, not being able to tear his eyes away from the scene. Gavin was naked on his back, propped up on his elbows. Mike had his assless chaps on backwards and his t-shirt on, and Ray had only managed to get his vest around his dick. Caleb shut the door and walked back down the hall to the front, chuckling to himself. He was so going to be telling everyone about this. End by Draco Izumi Samwell. Special thanks to Tina Dayton. Addition support for Riley, John, and Jack.